forecast was for rain, so I've scooted out to try and get this done before it does start raining, because as you can see it's looking rather inclement. It's a lot quieter today, a lot less people about. So today we're going to go down on the beach, and I've got an adaptation today. I've got a dog bag fastened to my wrist, because today we're going to pick up some pebbles and shells and bits of interesting stuff and pop it in this bag, and then when it does rain we can sit at the desk and do a Facebook live chat, and then you can still have your morning's entertainment from the madhouse. So I've already picked one up. I'll show you this one. You'll have seen these stones on the beach when you've been out, and this is full of holes. I put it in my bag and it'll stop it from rustling. It's full of holes made by a mollusk called, are you ready? A boring piddock. Now, we talked about boring piddocks on one of the very early beach videos, so if you've been with us from the beginning you'll know what they are, but if you've not, then well, watch this space. I'll look it up and we'll see exactly what a boring piddock is, and we'll talk about that when we gather indoors one day. Here's another one. That little red one there is quite attractive, but that's actually a piece of brick. It's nothing more exciting than a piece of brick. There's actually, which one is it? It's that one. That board there on the seafront near to the 5-bar gate is actually all about the shells and the stones and the pebbles that are on the beach and where they come from and where they are from. These are interesting, you see. This beach is just absolutely full of what look like ordinary boring grey stones like this. And did you know that these grey ones were washed down from the Lake District, which is kind of there, in the Ice Age? No, neither did we, until we started researching it and looking for things on that board. So you see, we've been walking on what looks like pebbles, and there is quite a lot of stuff to see. You've just got to be eagle-eyed. Got to be eagle-eyed and know what you're looking for. That's a piece of granite. Oh, that's heavy. That's a piece of granite, look. When I worked at the Rossall Sea Defences, the workmen thought it was hilarious because I asked for a piece of the rock that they used to build the groins with, because I wanted to use it to keep it as a memento of the time that I spent working on the job. So they thought it was really funny, and then they all took one. I still got my rock. This is not obviously a stone. This is a sea sponge. So we'll put that in the bag. And for anybody that's wondering, or indeed anybody that's watching me and thinking that I'm a pebble thief, I will bring these back when I come back after we've done our chat, and I will put them exactly back where I got them from. Because all these tons and tons and tons of pebbles are the best form of sea defence that we could ever possibly have. So when people do come taking them, often in industrial quantities, they're actually removing the sea defences. And it's not really a good idea when it's the only thing we've got. That's a nice piece of an oyster shell. It's more interesting when it's been windy, because it washes loads and loads of different things up. I can remember one day, you know that little cove that we looked at last week when we went up towards Rossall? One day, quite some years ago, me and my mum walked up there, and there'd been a bad storm, and there were absolutely layers and layers of stuff that had been washed up. Let me just show you this and then we can carry on walking. Where's it gone? I've lost it. I've just seen a crab shell. Here it is. I bend down. So that's a crab shell. I'll pop that one in my pocket because I don't want to squash it with my stones. There were all kinds of things that I'd never seen before. There were sea mice. They're weird. They're like a sort of a slug, and they're furry on the top side, but they usually wash up upside down, and they live on the sea bed. They're really odd. You'll see them washed up from time to time. Loads and loads of starfish, crabs, anemones. There were, you name it, it washed up. There's loads of bits of seaweed. That's some seaweed, look. Oops, dropped it. That's some seaweed. Put that in my bag. We do this with the kids from the primary schools. I'll go down here where it's not quite as wobbly, and then it'll not be as up and down of a walk. We have a Rossall Beach Buddies roadshow that we take out into the schools. So we go out with all these props and things, and we've got plastic dog poo and bottles of litter that we've picked up off the beach and all kinds of stuff. We've even got plastic flies to go with the plastic dog poo. And we do a talk for the kids and explain to them all about beach pollution and why it matters that we try to be clean and all the rest of it. And then when we've done that, the kids come back out to the beach, and we give them a dog bag, and we send them out to find things that they find interesting, or things that they don't know what they are, or things that are really weird. Believe me, we get some weird things washed up. And it's always really interesting to see what they find. They find all kinds of stuff. We find loads of... I'm not very good at thinking and walking at the same time, can you tell? We find loads of disposable cigarette lighters. McDonald's spoons is another one. There's all kinds of things wash up. In fact, one time, on fairly quick succession, we found 2 pairs of surgical, not scissors, what do you call those things that you use to clip things? Yeah, them. 2 of them. They've not got a scissor blade on the end. They look like a pair of scissors, but they've not got a blade on. In fact, I've got them back in my own little stash. I'll show you that as well. Which I found forceps, that's the word, forceps. Which I found really bizarre. Somebody suggested that it might be the fishermen that use them when they're putting bait on, just so that they don't get their fingers on the hooks. So whether that's where they've come from, I'm not sure. So there's not as much washed up as there is normally. What else have we got? Well, this is a rum do, isn't it? You're all sat there with bated breath, waiting to see what we're going to find. We're just up at the tank traps again now at Rossall School, so just to orientate you. Oh, I found a bit of sea glass. Nice bit of sea glass. Got a jar full of sea glass. That's lovely. I like the pale blue one best. But I have to say that bottle top, that bottle stopper that I found last week is my star find to date. It's the one and only one I've ever found in all the 20 odd years I've walked up and down this beach. Yeah, so we're nearly at the tank traps at Rossall School again. So you can see the concrete sea defences while the tide's out. I'll just go up here and then you can see this overflow channel from this side. If you're ever on the beach and you hear this gurgling run. It's the land drain, and it brings the water that is collected into dikes and the little brooks and things that drain out to sea. I'm not quite sure exactly how it drains out. I suppose there must be a system somewhere. So it brings the water from all these little brooks and tributaries that naturally drain to the sea, out to the sea wall, and they come out here. So in fact it doesn't look like it's drained for a while. It comes gushing out of this pipe, which is at the back of this little concrete wall, and it comes with a right clatter when it drains, when it opens. There's obviously a valve on it. There you go. On drain. Show you inside. You see. In fact, shall we bend down and have a look? Ooh, it's just a big black hole. There's not really anything to see, is there? That's your excitement for today, that. So, now to puff again. That's today's walk on the beach. Don't forget to share it with your friends. I don't know whether you can hear it, but I can hear the birds. I think the skylarks. I wouldn't like to say exactly what they are, but they're over there on the grassland at Rossall School Field. So Rossall School is there, and parallel to the seawall here is the tramway to Fleetwood. So Fleetwood's that way. So don't forget to tell your friends to give us a follow and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. Don't forget, the more of you that watch what we do, the more we'll do it. Have a lovely day. You take care. Look after everybody that you love. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.